All right, shalom. First off, I want to start up by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh. It's all praises to the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem meaning in the name, and Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. Also, I want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to those who like preaching His word in truth and sincerity. On the brother Tazabah. And the Great Millstone, Arizona camp, Lord will, with another video to edify. And I wanted to get into this. Wanted to do a spiritual land back on the brother in the camp, Gaar. His lesson he did called the DeeBo of the earth, and he was basically going into how this devil Esau Edom rolled around this earth just like Edom. Just like DeeBo, right? Came over, snatching niggas' chains, robbing them, right? Beating niggas up, and he wish somebody would say something, right? And spiritual, because what was the thing that took down DeeBo? When Craig grabbed that rock, that brick, right? And that's going to be the same thing of how Esau has ended in this time. The Lord is going to come back, who is that rock, riding upon his own, perceived stone, like it says in Ezra. We're going to get it. And the Lord is going to sit here, like the scripture say, he shall bruise our heel, right? But we shall bruise his head. Let me get that. Right, it says Genesis 3 and 15, it says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, right? Between what? The children of Israel, right? And the serpent. And between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, right? So we were given the lot to bruise the head, and that's a mortal wound. And now shall bruise his heel, right? And we've been bruised in the heel. The Achilles injury, man, we've been down for a long time, right? The recovery's been forever, but now what? The Lord has been healing us through the word of the Lord, man. Brothers are repenting, right? Fixing themselves up and molding ourselves according to what the Lord said was righteous, what he said was good, right? Same way DeeBo got knocked out with that brick. Well, the Lord is about to knock these devils out in the same way, man. So this is Ephesians 2 and 20. It says, and ye are built upon the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, Yahushua and Mashiach himself being the chief cornerstone. So that's that stone, right? That the Lord is going to use to smite down these devils, man. Right? This is building the case, man. This is what it is. It's building the case, man. This is Romans 9. And the 33, it says, let's start at 32. Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith, but as it were by the works of the law, right? For they stumbled at the stumbling block, as it is written, I lay in Zion a stumbling block and rock and offense. And who is that? That stumbling block and rock and offense that the Lord laid in Zion is talking about Yahushua himself, right? Because people couldn't get over the fact that, right, this is somebody they knew who he was, they knew his father, right? They couldn't get over the fact that he came lowly, right, not boasting himself up, so they didn't give him the honor and the glory that he was supposed to have, right? So what? People bucked up, talk shit, because they didn't come how they wanted him to come. He came how what was commended, so it was an offense to people. And whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. That's talking about Yahushua, man. So he's that rock, right? And that's what's going to hit these devils in the head, just like DeeBo was hitting their head with that brick, man. right? This is Daniel's 2, the book of Daniel, chapter 2. And I'll start at 31. It says, Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image, the image whose whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee. The form thereof was terrible, right? Going into the statue in the book of Daniels, right? Going into the entire power structure of all these nations that have been, all these major rulerships, right? Going to the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Medo-Persian Empire, right? The Greeks and the Romans, right? These are those major empires, and we're at the feet of it right now, right? So it says, the images. So where was I at? It says the image's head was of fine gold, going to the Babylonians. The breast, his breast and his arms of silver, right? Going into his breast and his arms of silver is going into the Medo-Persian Empire. His belly is going into the Grecians, the Greek Empire. Right, and this is the breakdown. Right? It says his feet part of iron and part of miry clay, and that's where we are right now. We're in the time of the feet, which is part of iron and iron clay, which is that American empire, NATO and the EU, that entire power structure. Right? It says, thou sawest till that stone was cut down. Thou sawest till a stone was cut out without hands. What was the stone that was cut out without hands? It's talking about the same thing in the book of Ezra, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay. Right? Let's go back. Let's get Ezra, man. It builds right perfectly into it, man. It's 2nd Ezra 13. Right, and 2 it says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof, and behold, lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Talking about Yahweh Shai, when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Right, and whosoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when he filleth the fire. Right, and after this I beheld, and lo, there came gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Talking about all these armies of the nations, right? Behold, and it says, and I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. Right? That's that great mountain that carved without hands. Right? That's talking about the Lord coming on his chariot, right? To wreck ship. To DeeBo, right? To Craig DeeBo, man. It says, but I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. And it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were together to subdue him were sore afraid, yet durst fight, because the Lord is going to make them fight for World War III. This is going to be the last battle, right? The last time that the Lord has to wet his sword with blood, right? It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, right? Because he just had the power like that, man. Go to the book of Ezekiel. It tells you how the spirit of the angels were in those chariots as well, man. It moved how he wanted. But I only saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been, a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And you got to put these things into your imagination, man. Imagine a fire enfolding itself into a whirlwind, right? the sound of it, the stillness in the air, the cracking in the lighting and thunder of that tempest and lightning sparking all around it. Imagine that, man. It says, and they were all together, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one of them, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Right? And this is how the Lord's going to get down. He's going to sit here and bruise the head of our enemies. Right? This is what Daniel was seeing. Right? Ezra just saw it in more of a vivid picture. A vivid picture, man. This is back in Daniel's 2. And 33, it says his legs of iron, his feet part of miry clay. Is his feet part of iron in part of clay? Thou sawest till the stone was cut out without hands. Talk about the Lord, Yahushua riding on that chariot, which smote the image upon his feet. And that's what the Lord's going to do, that with that blast of fire, that flaming breath, that there were of iron and Salakia, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them in pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken in pieces together. Because what's going to happen when the Lord comes does this is he's going to break up all these nations, all their power structure, every one of them. That's why in the book of Revelation it says he had many crowns. Let's get that. Right, Revelation 19:12, it says his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. Right? Why would he have many crowns? Because he went about conquering all those nations. This is why in Daniel's 2:35 it tells you, right, that he broke apart all those nations. Right? Then was the iron, back in Daniel's 2:35, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, the gold, broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor, right? All those rulerships, all those kingdoms, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, and the stone was smote, the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth, right? So at the end of this, the Lord's going to destroy these heathen, right? And we're going to get the rulership. We're going to get the reign back. We're going to be the one in the power seat. Right? Because this is how America is prophesied. Esau is prophesied to go down. It's Isaiah 66:15. It says, behold, Yahweh will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind. We just read about his chariot, that great mountain that he flew upon, right? It says to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. And that's what's going to happen, man. The Lord's going to put this place down in great fashion, right? As the amount of violence that America's put out on the earth, as the amount of violence that you Edomites have put on everybody in the earth, you're going to serve those things out, man. And the Lord is just going to get rid of you at the end of the day. That's a beautiful thing about it, man. This is Revelation 18:20. It says, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and be ye holy. It says, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High had avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone, right? We've been going into that stone that's gonna Craig the DeeBo, right? What they say, get him Craig. Well, we're gonna be saying the Wadi Yahweh Shemi Shai, right? It says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. Shalom.